3D movies and virtual reality seemingly have nothing to do with each other, but they followed surprisingly similar paths. Both have been mostly confined to novelty uses, like the snake that jumps out of the screen at you at Honey, I Shrunk the Kids at Disney World. And virtual reality has basically just been for video games and sex scenes in sci-fi movies.
More recently, though, both have made a move toward the mainstream, and they've been tapped to do roughly the same thing even, make our movies, games, and the whole digital world much more immersive. Both are even designed to replicate how it is we see the world. Take 3D, for instance. When you look at the world through your actual eyes, they see two slightly different pictures because your eyes are set apart. Your brain meshes them into one, which is how you perceive depth accurately. That's also why catching a ball with only one eye open is really hard. 3D cameras do the same thing. They shoot with two lenses and essentially capture two images that they then project into your separate eyes. You use either anaglyph glasses, where one eye sees a red image and the other sees blue, or polarized glasses, which pick up light being projected in two different directions and pipe them into each eye. There's also active shutter 3D, autostereoscopic 3D, which is just a fancy way for saying the screen does all the work and you don't need glasses, and plenty of other options. They all rely on your brain to take two distinct images and turn them into one. 3D hasn't really caught on though, at least not among consumers and everyday people. It's difficult and expensive to do right, it still requires that you sit with your head very still and at a very particular angle, and there are a huge number of people for whom it either doesn't work at all or actually makes them sick. The technology is still changing, and it's going to continue to improve. But here's the thing, virtual reality might eat 3D's lunch before it ever gets a chance. Virtual reality's also been around forever. It's also been gimmicky for most of that time, and is only recently threatening to become something we use in our day-to-day lives. On one hand, it has a lot of the same limitations as 3D. You have to wear a thing connected to another thing, and it can be really disorienting for some people. But when done right, virtual reality brings the immersion to an entirely new level. It's all about exploration. Good virtual reality creates a three-dimensional world that doesn't just appear to have depth. It has depth. An object will look different depending on how you look at it, and you can even see it from the back. You can't do that with a 3D camera.
Basically, virtual reality works by tricking what are called place cells in our brain. These cells are what orient us in a new environment. They're how we figure out where we parked or even get around our house. And surprisingly, once we're in a new environment, these cells make it really easy to figure out where we are, even if we've been there just a short time.
But virtual reality has its own complications and challenges. For this reality to feel real, there has to be zero latency. When you turn your head, you need to be looking to the side exactly as fast as you expect. Any lag takes you out of the experience, and the effect as it catches up can be so disorienting that you can actually get sick. And these place cells need information like smells and temperature to really give you a full sense of where you are. Both 3D and virtual reality are still maturing, but they're both moving towards the same goal. We want our movies to feel like video games and our video games to feel like real life. Can virtual reality bring the change 3D promised? And just how far into the matrix can we really go?